Multiplying decimals by whole numbers. Let's just dive right in here. So in our first example, we have a decimal. It's actually money, $12.07, and we're multiplying it by a whole number. Well, the first thing I think I want to do is actually estimate the answer. Now, I would estimate this first number, 1207, to the nearest whole number, 12. And with single digits, I generally don't like to round those at all. So I'm going to do 12 times 6 is 72. Now that's going to be my guess. Let's see how close I am to $72. So when I'm multiplying decimals, I actually ignore the decimal until the very end. So I'm going to think of this, instead of $12.07, I'm going to think of this as 1,207 times 6. So let's go ahead and do that. So 6 times 7 is 42. Going to carry the 4. 6 times 0 is 0. The 4 just drops down. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Now this is when I pay attention to the decimal. Because we have two places to the right of the decimal point, we need to move the decimal 2 spots from the left in our answer. So the decimal would go right here. So again, there were 2 places to the right of the decimal. So you would move the decimal point 2 places to the left in your answer. So my answer is $72.42, and as you can see, that was pretty close to my estimate. This next one, I'm going to estimate the first number to be $5, and I'm not going to round to single digit. I'm just going to leave that. So my guess on this next question is $35. Let's see how close I am. So again, I'm going to think of this as 547 times 7. I'm going to completely ignore the decimal until the very end. So 7 times 7 is 49. Carry the 4. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4 is 32. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 3 is 38. Now I'm going to pay attention to that decimal point. And just like in our first example, we have 2 places to the right of the decimal. I'm going to move the decimal in my answer 2 places to the left. So the actual answer was $38.29. My guess was $35. That's pretty close. Now in our next example, we're doing 1.06, 1 6 thousandths times 7. I'm going to estimate that before I begin. So I'm going to estimate the first number to be 1. And I'm not even going to round that second number. So my guess is it's going to be pretty close to 7. Now 7, and again, I'm going to ignore the decimal. I'm going to think of this as 1,006 times 7. So 7 times 6 is 42. Carry the 4. 7 times nothing is nothing. The 4 drops down. 7 times 0 is 0. And 7 times 1 is 7. Now in this one, now I'm going to pay attention to the decimal. We have 3 places to the right of the decimal, which means we need to move the decimal point 3 places in our answer. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places. So the actual answer is 7.042. That was very close to my estimate. Let's do one more. Now this will require a little 2-digit multiplication, but I want to estimate first. So I'm going to round that first number to 10. By the way, there are a lot of different ways that you could estimate this particular question. And you know, the second one, I could round it to 20, or I could round it to 25. I actually think I'm just going to leave that as 24, because 10 times 24 is very easy to multiply in your head. That would be 240. Let's see how close I am to my guess, to my estimate. So I'm going to do 4 times, and again, I think of this as just 123. So 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 4 times 1 is 4. Now, before I begin the multiplying 2 times everything on the top, I'm going to get rid of that 1. I'm going to erase that so I don't get confused here. Now I've already multiplied 4 times everything. We need a placeholder. Now, I've seen kids use a variety of things. Most kids probably use 0 as a placeholder. I've seen some kids use X as a placeholder. I've seen zeros with an X. You know, it really doesn't matter what you use as a placeholder. So I'm going to use X. So let's do 2 now times the top number here. So 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. And I need to add all this up. And now it's time to pay attention to the decimal point. So I had one place to the right of the decimal. We only need to move the decimal then one spot in our answer. So it would go right here. So the answer is 295.2. That's a reasonable answer. It's fairly close to the estimate. And that is essentially how you multiply decimals by whole numbers.